So, like always, I want to thank you guys for coming out and covering Penn State football. We appreciate it. Really want to start by thanking the fans. That was a phenomenal environment. And that wasn't even a whiteout. And we had that. The fans were phenomenal. We thought the fans had 7 impactful impacts on the game. 7 plays, whether it was timeouts, whether it was false starts and penalties, whether it was bad snaps. We thought they had 7 plays that were significant in the game. We're so thankful and appreciative for the fans and the environment we get here. It's like nothing in all of sports, let alone college football. So we're appreciative of that. It's awesome having the 94 team back here. If you guys haven't done any homework, I know the vets have, but if you haven't done any homework on that 94 team, the amount of guys that went on, and I think we had 5 guys drafted in the first round, guys that went on and had significant careers, 17-year careers in the NFL, Super Bowl champions, all that kind of stuff. So it was great having our brothers back. That was awesome. A couple other things. When Illinois had the ball on the 2-yard line at the end of the second quarter, the fans were significant there. Our defense was significant there. From that point on, we held them out of the end zone there, ended up missing a field goal. From that point on, they only had 39 yards the rest of the game. So that was huge. Our defense is playing really well. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. You talk about they're the second set of teammates with 2,000 career rushing yards since Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell. Pretty good group to be associated with. Pretty cool stat there. So overall, I'm really, really happy with our guys. That is a good football team. You got to give Illinois and Coach Bielema a ton of respect. That game really played out for a long time the way Illinois wants the game to go. They want one possession games. They want to keep it tight. Where I think it went different is I challenged our O-line against their D-line, and I challenged our D-line against their front, their O-line. And I think that was the difference really in the game. We rushed for 239 yards. They rushed for 34 yards. And it's not just 34 yards. That is a team that is committed to running the football. They are committed to running the football. And when you're able to take somebody and force them out of the style of play that they want to play, then usually good things happen. So we got a ton of things that we got to clean up. You guys will bring them all up. You'll bring up all the negative things that we got to get corrected on Sunday. I get it. I'll answer every single one of your questions. But I'm proud of our guys, and I'm proud of that locker room. We found a way to get a win at home against a really good ranked opponent. And I open up to questions.
Rich and I will get a mic to you. We'll go with Rick or Mark and Rich.
James, what about that game made you decide to run the ball as often as you did? And could you expand a little bit on the job the O-line did? Everybody looks at the stats of the running backs, but they may not realize what that group did.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the first thing with the O-line and tight ends, they're playing a physical brand of football. And they're doing a great job of protecting our quarterback. They're allowing us to get ahead of the sticks. And the combination of our O-line being physical, and I don't know if there's a better combination of running backs in the country. There was some physical runs out there today. So I couldn't be more proud of that group and how they're playing. That's going to be important for us the rest of the year. But when you're able to run the ball like that on offense and stop the run on defense, good things are going to happen for you. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Did I answer both your questions?
That's good enough. Other people have to ask questions.
What was the other one?
It was about what made you decide to run it as often as you did.
Yeah, I think when you look down and Katron Allen averaged 5.7 yards per carry, Nick Singleton 5.9 yards per carry, Bo Prabula 5.7 yards per carry. You're stupid to get away from it, right? So Andy was doing a great job calling the game. As you guys know, I'll mix in there every once in a while, just reminding him, hey, stick with the run. We're gashing him right now, or time to take a shot. Let's, I just try to, I'm down there, I'm on the sideline. Sometimes as the play caller, it's good to kind of have these things as to reinforce what he's already doing. But that was the biggest reason. We got to be better in the red zone. We weren't as good in the red zone tonight. Again, you got to give Illinois credit too.
Rich and then Jared.
James, to your right.
Hey, Rich. Is this your new spot now?
Well, I guess. Thank you.
You know,
Change next week. Who knows?
What's your name?
No.
What's your name?
Good.
Avery, you're sitting in a spot.
No.
You guys been covering Penn State football for 30 years, Avery. Sorry.
Yeah, but who's counting, right?
Sorry,
No,
Rich.
I'm gonna be one of the guys who brings up the negatives. You said in your halftime interview with the radio network that you were very unhappy with the penalties, including the quote-unquote BS penalties. What, at this point of the season, should these penalties, some of these penalties, be cleaned up by now, and how do you go about cleaning them?
I got no problem with the question. So first of all, it's hard to complain about a bad call when we're getting as many penalties as we are. I felt like at the end of the game, there was a ton of times where we were getting held. And I'll watch the tape. You know, I'm not trying to be critical, and I know one of the things you're doing right now is trying to get me fined.
I won't pay it.
Yeah, trust me. But for me, I just want to feel like it's being called both ways. That's ultimately all I care about. The one play I had a really hard time with. They called Tony Rojas, who's running to make a tackle. The ball's going down the sideline, and he's going to make the tackle, and somebody comes to block him, and he lowers his shoulder and destroys the guy. Why? Because Tony Rojas is bigger than the guy that was trying to block him? He's chasing the ball. What's he supposed to do? He's going to make a tackle. Someone's coming to block him. Just because he absolutely destroyed him, it's a penalty? It's not our fault. And what I was told is that he peeled back to knock somebody out. If the run's going that way, why would you peel back to make a block? It just doesn't make sense from a common sense perspective. And I watched the play. So, again, you're trying to get me fined.
I was actually
But-
talking more about the offside penalty.
Yeah, but it's a fair question. But it's a fair question. Again, you guys have heard me say before, the ones I struggle with is right now we got a reputation for jumping off sides, and they know it. They're going to keep doing it until we get it cleaned up. So that's got to happen. And the reality is, as good as we played, we made it a lot harder than it needed to be with silly penalties. And that's on me. Like this whole yelling at the kids, that's on me and us as coaches. We gotta provide more discipline all the time, not just punitive penalties when they jump off sides. Being more disciplined about how they are in meetings, how they sit up, how they take notes, all of that. And I believe the more discipline that we have off the field will transfer on the field. And that's my job ultimately.
Jared, then Tyler.
Hey, Coach Franklin, to your left.
Jared, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I got a positive one for you. After Illinois, after Illinois came out and scored on their opening drive, what can you talk about the team effort to then shut them out for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think the first thing is we got to be better on opening drives, right? To me, as a head coach, I think opening drives on offense and defense are very telling about how prepared you are. Your opening offensive drives, you should have gone through it so many times versus all the looks you're expecting to get that you can really go down the field and be successful. That's a week's worth of preparation to open the game. Same thing on defense. We got to break some tendencies that people aren't as comfortable going down the field. Make them question their game plan. Make them question what they've studied. So we got to be better in that area. But again, when you hold a Big Ten team to 7 points, you're going to have a chance to win a ton of games. And I'm very proud of our defensive players. I'm very proud of Tom Allen and the defensive staff. They've done a great job. So we got to get that cleaned up. But again, we're going to win a lot of games when you hold people to 7 points and 34 rushing yards against a Big Ten opponent, you're gonna give yourself a chance to win a lot of games.
2 more, we'll go Tyler, and then we'll go Mason.
Thanks. Hi, James.
Hey, Tyler.
Sanders and Haydock, obviously a couple misses today, field goals. Ryan Barker was out there for the last extra point attempt. So with the kicker position, what is your intention as far as assessing and evaluating that role before the UCLA matchup?
Yeah, as you can imagine, I'm not going to get into that right now. I love Sanders Sahaydak. He's been awesome for us here. And we just won a game, and he should be celebrating this win like everybody else. But ultimately, we'll have a competition, and all these things will factor into some decisions that we're going to have to make moving forward. But I want Sander to celebrate this win like everybody else, because he's put a ton into this. He's a great kid. He's a great representative of Penn State and everything that we're about. And I love the fact that we played complementary football, and our offense and defense had Sanders back. That's going to happen from time to time.
Last question to Mason. Mason, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, Coach. Mason Smith. I'm hoping I'm frank today, but I'm from the land of the East Stroudsburg Warriors. I work for the Pocono Record, your alma mater. So.
Yeah, y'all hear that? Say it again. Say it again one more time.
East Stroudsburg Warriors.
Yeah, Penn State, East Stroudsburg, then Harvard, Yale, Princeton.
Absolutely, Coach. The question I have for you about the defense. Obviously, Illinois had a really strong first drive where they got that touchdown, but they continue to improve in that second half especially. It seemed like another notch that culminated with an interception that was, returned for a touchdown, ultimately called back. What was the turning point you saw in your defense that allowed them to, really shut down that Illini offense?
Well, I think a couple things, right? I think the first thing that we did a better job in this game is we were better on first down. That's been an issue earlier in the year. We weren't good enough on first down. So what happens then is you're getting third and manageable situations, and you're able to extend drives. So we were much better. Again, back to the 34 yards rushing. I'm not sure exactly what they averaged per rush, but it wasn't very good. And that really set everything else up from there. We know that we're going to get slants and RPO glances, which are similar to slants, because we play a heavy man coverage outside leverage. So we get a ton of that. And we got to do a great job of getting our hands up and batting some of those balls down. And we got to make sure we tackle them. But they're going to make their plays too. They're on scholarship as well. But ultimately, we made that team one-dimensional. And when you're able to do that, you got a chance to be successful. So, the exciting thing, back to Rich's point and really a lot of you guys' point, there's a lot of things that I think are very easily correctable, and we got to get them fixed. And that's coming from a defense that held them to how many total yards? 219 total yards and 34 rushing yards.
The answer is 1.1.
They average 1.1 yards per rush.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.